Louis and Angie Montfort. Is that right?
That's it. Perfect.
Correct.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So y'all run a cafe, and y'all been here 3 years,
Nearly.
and y'all are straight up Aussie.
Straight up. Can't shake it.
Where from?
Well, we both came from different backgrounds. I was a Navy child, so I moved around in Australia a lot. I grew up in the southern area in New South Wales, and then later in life moved up to Queensland, that's where Louis was born and grew up.
Yeah, so born in Brisbane and pretty much lived my whole life there until we moved over here. So
He still couldn't find his way around there.
I'm pretty bad at directions. And then coming over here, north, south, east, west, that's
Oh, I don't understand anything here. I use Google Maps to go to Kroger, and it's a mile up the road.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah, we ain't.
I get a lot of shit for that, don't I?
What I hate is when people go, all right, so you're like 635 to 135
No.
East. No. I'm going to use my phone.
Yeah.
Don't even waste these 2 minutes telling me because I ain't hearing any of that.
Because we do like inbound, outbound from the city, and then we use like a lot of landmarks. And like, oh, take 125 and north of El Dorado and blah, blah. I was like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know.
No.
I'm exactly the same, just put into my GPS and then,
have
and even then I can't find it. I'm
Even
pretty
then
freaking hopeless.
yeah.
But
Are you Google Maps or Apple Maps?
well, I
I'm Waze.
do use Waze,
I
but
respect that, yeah.
yeah, but I like Google.
Good. Yeah.
He uses Google when I'm not around.
Yeah, because somebody uses Apple Maps. I'm like, well, we're just never going to get there.
No, we're not going to get along if that's how it's going to happen.
But are you iPhone over Android? Okay,
Yes,
good.
we both are.
Good.
But
Yeah, I would kick you off right now. Yeah.
Why do people do that? Why do they think they're helping out the small guy? It's not.
Well, when that new flip came,
Oh, that was close.
I was like, oh, maybe because
I'll tell you, the Galaxy one that flips like an iPad.
Yep.
Okay, I almost bought
Yes.
it too. Yeah, because I was still going to keep my iPhone, but I was like, man, that'd be pretty dope to have like a tablet that flips out anytime.
Yeah.
You know, you say that, but then you're like, you're never going to use
never
it.
gonna.
It's kind of like my friend Adam. He, he's got loans for a bunch of things and shouldn't be spending money on the newest iPhone. And he's like, well, I had to get the newest iPhone because it's got a terabyte of storage, and I got 30,000 songs. And I go, well, yeah, but you can just stream them.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but what happens if I don't have connection or internet?
Where's he going?
And I was like, well, when's the last time you didn't have connection? And he was like, well, I was he's an accountant at a hotel, keep in mind. But he was like, well, I was taking some photos outside and I lost connection for about 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
And I was like, so you're telling me that to not to have your music or your movies, to have 400 movies available on your phone
For 20 minutes.
yeah, is it's just like the logic people do to justify their spending is interesting.
I suppose everybody's got their little things.
Yeah, some more than others.
All right, so y'all have a cafe, and did you have one back in Australia too?
Yes, we did. We had one in Brisbane. It was called Honor Espresso. We had that for 8 years.
Yeah, it was definitely a labour of love for a long time.
And then we'd always dreamed about coming over here, but our landlord wouldn't renew our lease. And there was a few stipulations in about how far we could open up our next shop from. And then we were like, if we would have had to sell something to come up with some capital to open up the next shop there in a really
Saturated market.
yeah,
too. Every second door you opened was another version of what we were doing. So
yeah. And a little bit different because coffee shop here is just like a coffee shop, but like cafes, we're like really broad. So like nearly every restaurant's got some kind of espresso machine in there, so we
noticed when we travelled over here that there wasn't a lot of what we did in Australia here. There were some really great coffee houses and there were some really great breakfast restaurants, but they didn't really combine the two. So you'd go into a coffee house and you'd get a great coffee and then you're like, I guess I'll have this breakfast burrito or whatever's, just there on the counter. And we just found that different. And, that's the way of life. So, we weren't saying that's not the right way. It was just different. And we knew there were a lot of expat Australians over here, so we knew that there would have been a degree of the market for that. And to have such a massive population and a massive opportunity, there was no way we thought, well, we may as well. We've got our age. We've got, we didn't have kids. And it was something we always wanted to do. So we thought, let's do it.
When was the first time you went to America?
I was 30, and I just did the big guys, like I did New York
Miami,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
No, actually, we've never been to Miami.
Not yet. I want to
Not
go.
yet. Yeah, he wants to go.
Every time I've been to like 25 countries or something, and every time I'm like, I said, clearly I look like I'm from the States, and they're like, I've been to Miami. Like that's always,
Yeah.
they've either been to New York or Miami every time.
No, that's one thing we've got to get to. I think that for Australians, Miami is a little bit like our Gold Coast, and that's probably one
Is it
of my-
real trashy in the Gold Coast?
one of
Okay,
my
yeah, then that's
least-
Miami.
Yeah, it's one of my least favorite places on the
Yeah,
planet.
Miami is. You'll find more people speaking Spanish than speaking English, and then you'll just find like a lot of plastic surgery and just a lot of like I don't know. I've never been like tempted to cheat on my wife, but I feel like I live there. I would be.
It'd be the right thing to do if you were there. It's like the rite of passage. Well, we only ever saw Miami on TV, and we knew that was where all the kooky things happened. Like that first thing I remember about Miami was, the big drug explosion and the people eating each other. Yeah, so we thought that was kind of like, oh yeah, we've covered that. That's the Gold Coast, but we still do want to get there.
Yeah, well, what's really interesting about Miami is it's so close to all the other cities on the coast there. So you go like 30 minutes away from Miami, and you're in Fort Lauderdale, which is like rich white people. You go 15 minutes away, you're in Boca, which is like rich old white people. It's just like a weird and then you go an hour away, and it's like homes are like $100,000, and it's just like a totally different vibe. It's just
Yeah.
like another city in Florida. So that's what's really interesting is that Miami is like contained in Miami. Any city like that any city that's got a ton of rental car agencies is the wrong city to be in, I think.
Classic, yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Ticking
about?
that
Like
box.
it's just like, all right, there's a lot of people here trying to be rich.
Yep.
And that's like always, that's not the people you want to hang around.
Yeah, well, it ticks the same boxes as
The
Gold
wannabes.
Coast. Yeah, yeah, but they've got to be somewhere.
So my wife and I booked a trip to Sydney, and that got canceled by COVID.
When were you supposed to go?
This is hilarious. Was it February of this year?
So were we.
Yeah,
Or was it even? Maybe it was like January. I don't know. We booked it about a year in advance though. So we booked it during COVID because we got a great deal on it. And we thought, we'll get this great deal.
Yeah.
And then, it's all going to clear up. Obviously, COVID's not going to last forever. Obviously, Australia's not going to have helicopters that fly over people's homes to make sure that they're staying
You wouldn't think
inside.
so.
Yeah, nobody's going to go that crazy.
cringe. Yeah.
How much of Australia is like just open terrain and just no people? It's just the Wild West.
A lot. Yeah, it's really deceiving. Australia is a massive, massive place, and people think because it's an island that it's tiny. But I think we worked out once that Queensland, the state where we were from, two Texases can fit inside Queensland. And so when people call Texas the big state, we're like, oh, that's cute. Like it's a big place, but we mainly inhabit the coastal areas. So, there are towns
Are
in
there
central.
a ton of snakes?
Lots of snakes.
Heaps of snakes, heaps of things that'll kill you, lots
Yeah.
of spiders, all those reptiles.
Yeah.
So I heard there's bounties for like house cats. Like there's a lot of house cats, and you can
Yeah.
like kill them and make like $10 a cat. Like
I don't know if that's still legit. Maybe like in Western areas, but yeah, I know that there's where my sister lives. There's a place called Wild Dog Valley, and they get bounties.
Wild dogs.
Yeah, bounties for wild dogs.
Really?
Yeah, and they hang the carcasses over the sign that says Wild Dog Valley, and I've never seen dogs bigger than those dogs. They're like big, so I don't know what they're bred with, but they're wild, running free, taking down like livestock, and yeah, so
But also the weapon culture is like a lot different.
yeah, that's the other thing. They've got all these things that can kill us, but nothing we can kill them back with. So yeah,
yeah, because y'all moved guns in like '94, right?
yeah.
After the Port Arthur massacre.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, they still are around. There's plenty on the black market, and you can acquire them legally. But if you,
Well, you can 3D print them.
well, yeah, exactly.
I don't know if we've got them down there. No.
I mean, we had like a long arm license, and we just do a bit of sporting shooting. But
Yeah, but we're on the rare side. We're probably
minority.
we're probably like 1 in 100 people that have any form of weapon down there, and
Exactly.
we were kind of viewed as like, white trash redneck because people were like, oh my goodness, you've got a gun, And you're like, yeah, well, I grew up in the country, so it was kind of normal for me. But even then, when you go to a range, you're single
load only, yep.
only.
and I mean, you can just about have any
Yeah,
caliber.
I like how you're laughing because that's legit.
And it's all bolt action only. I think if you're like a farmer or you're a varmint exterminator, you can have a semi-automatic 22. But like
anything more than that is like it's not. Yeah.
And then if you want to have a pistol, then you need to go on 4 different occasions a year to a shooting range and get that one
per gun.
Yeah, per gun, per caliber. So if you've got 3 different calibers, you've got to go 12 times. Is that right? 3, 4 is 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, when you've got to drive like 45 minutes to get to a range.
Yeah, in my case, when I have 19 guns.
Yeah,
you're in trouble.
You're no Australian.
Or they'd have a drone flying over your house 24/7. What's this guy doing with this many guns?
And the first thing that people do when they come over here from Australia, they're like, let's go to a shooting range.
Well, I know that. So one of my clients is a gun range near an airport. And they crush it with the international crowd. Like it's just everywhere international. People are like, this is what we want to do. And then now it's funny, like people come in from California and like, this is what I want to do.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Get out all the angst. Yeah. You know, it's on trips to Vegas and you go to that range down there where you literally just walk in and next thing you know, you're holding an AK into an Australian. And that's just like,
never going to see one of those in real life.
Yeah.
Do you have casinos in Australia?
Yeah, not to the degree that they are sort of in Vegas, but we have I think each capital city has its
just
own
about
casino.
Yeah.
But we have what you guys call slats in every bar in Australia.
Well, the RSLs. Oh, they are in most bars.
Yeah,
hey?
yeah. So in our pubs we have pokies. And so our gambling problem in Australia is really, really high. It's really high. Like on the back of every restroom door is like, here's your helplines. And yeah, gambling is a massive problem.
What's cost of living? I know, of course, it varies everywhere, but like where you were compared to here?
Well, it's funny you're talking about the housing market because like the housing, so Sydney and Melbourne used to be like the most expensive cities to live in, but since COVID happened, a lot of those guys have been moving out, but not only because of the housing market, but because of all like the coronavirus stipulations that the government put on. So they're coming to Brisbane and the prices of housing in Brisbane has gone up by like 30-40% as well. It's gone insane. So like, I mean, with our old coffee shop, to give you like put into perspective, like the front of like we do have service and that sort of stuff, but we had a counter service like cafe, and everybody there who was working for us was on like in the front of the house was on like 23 something an hour. That's Monday to Friday. Then on Saturday you add an extra couple of dollars. Then on Sunday it's like time and a half. So, I mean, you earn a lot more, but a can of Coke's like $3. You know, you go and get Avo toast and it's like $19.20. A glass of wine's like $20.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
it's relative, but so you feel everyone gets excited when they hear about the
because people don't understand economics. Yeah, I mean that's kind of like we're trying to take all our cash and just put it into real estate, into crypto, because it's like this inflation is not going to stop, especially if we're like thinking about like minting $1 trillion coin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, people just don't like. That's the thing is that like, okay, we can raise minimum wage to 15 an hour. Like we can do that. That's fine. It doesn't. All it means is that like your toast goes from $12 to 16. Like all it does is just push the dollar down.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a little bit where we feel like we're just sort of spectators in this conversation, but we've seen the result of minimum wage being so high, and it's all the benefits that go along with it. So there's a sense of entitlement in Australia that people think is here, but it's not.
There's this. Like, you're not forced to work for me is like always my argument. Mm-hmm. Like, if I want to pay somebody $2 an hour and they accept that, that's their problem. Like, I don't know why like people like.
There's also this thing like we call tall poppy syndrome back home, where like if you're kind of doing well, you're like, oh, I guess you must be charging too much for your coffee. Whereas it's kind of a little bit different over here, but
you get celebrated a lot more here.
You get celebrated a lot, and also that we really appreciate the hustle over here as well. So, I mean, obviously we don't have any answers for the whole minimum wage versus like the whole capitalist thing, because, I mean, from a small business background over there, it was hard because you hire somebody full time, and if they're not a very good employee, you've got to give them 3 written warnings before you can fire them, and it can't just be for anything. It's got to be like for legitimate stuff. And then
so y'all have been socialists for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought with the COVID thing was like when y'all just
No. To be honest, the COVID thing has almost been, hey, the rest of the world, look at Australia. So coming from that, we kind of like, even people that we know and love are like, oh, it's the way it's going to be for us to beat it. And we're like, really, guys? There is another way. But it's like Louis was saying, when you have somebody under your employee, the things that go along with it down there, it's a lot more favourable to be an employee than be an employer.
Yeah, so you need to like actually spend time hiring somebody.
Yes.
Because like I hire like 20 people in a day, and then I fire 18 of them like 2 days later.
That was one of the biggest culture shocks for us when we came over here. We couldn't believe the difference between the actual process and how, like I think we had our business down there. We had the restaurant down there for 8 years, and I think we had like maybe lost 5 or 6 staff.
I think we fired 3 people in 8 years who were like just absolute dead shits. Yeah. And then
which means a bad person.
Just imbeciles.
They had to do a lot of things really bad before we did that, because it was so expensive to rehire, retrain, and all the benefits that go along with it. So, if you've got somebody under your employ for 12 months, they've got 4 weeks of holiday pay that you need to pay them out. They've got sick pay. They've got all the things that go along with it, whereas it's a very, very different ball game here, because not only do the employees come and go more frequently, so do the employers. They don't treat their staff to the same degree as what we were knowing and loving. So we would hire staff here, and we would feel like like we automatically had them, and then they would disappear.
They just. And it was a shock to us, because like we'd hire somebody, we're looking open job position, and you hire somebody and people come to their interviews, whereas here the first couple of times there'd be a few no-shows, and this is before COVID, before like the whole staffing,
And so we were wondering, what are we doing wrong? But it was a culture.
And then people would like leave. This one dude, he left mid-shift, and we're like, where's that dude gone? He just clocked out and left, and we're like, what the fuck? Is that how it happens over here? And I think that it's because, back home, like the capitalism thing, I think that it's good and it's bad. I think it's bad, and I think it's because, like, as far as an employee goes, the right to work thing, or is that what it's called? Yeah, that's what it's called. You can be like, you're fired for no reason, which is, for us, we haven't really had to use that yet, but from in Australia where you can't find anybody to hear, I think that's created like almost like a lack of loyalty, because you're like, well, I don't give a shit about my boss, because he doesn't give a shit about me. He's going to treat me like I'm just a number, and especially with like the big corporations. You just get fired for no reason. And so the other extreme in Australia is it's really hard. But then I think that loyalty is that lack of loyalty because of that over here, it makes it hard to hire as well. So, and then, like Angie was saying, we took it to heart, because we're like, well, we fired 3 people
what are we doing wrong?
in 8 years, and then all of a sudden people aren't showing up to their shift and leaving, and we're like, all right, I think that's why it got to where it is, over here.
It's a big difference.
There's just everywhere in the world, entrepreneurs and small business owners are a very small percentage of the population. And that's just like, it's hard for us to wrap our heads around, because like, I don't know, maybe that's not who you hang around, but that's all I'm around is business owners.
Yep.
So like when I'm not around business owners, I'm like, oh, there are people that like have W-2s. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it's just weird knowing that like how other people think and view things. And I often forget what a person, so I was homeschooled, so I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. And then when I like finally started making friends, they were like 70-year-old men, which are like, the most reliable people ever. So I'm just like used to like a different standard of people. Yep. But if you go to a high school, like the truth is that like, if you had a class of 100 people, 97 of those ended up like average or losers. Yeah, so you just realize like, oh wow, a huge percentage of people live average lives, do average things. Like that's what I'm always like trying to coach my wife and like people around us on, is like the reason I don't care when like somebody thinks I'm like ignorant or cocky or whatever is because like they work at an accounting firm making $40,000 a year, and like their opinion of me is maybe good. If they don't like me, maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like what I do care about is like if I met Jeff Bezos and he was like, "You're not doing the right things," I'd
Yeah.
be like, "Okay, dang it," you know.
Now I'm gonna see what I can fix up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the old wolves don't lose sleep over opinions of sheep. Like it's, but in Australia, you literally could not be like that openly. You really wouldn't be considered. Like it would be, be like, we would go on holidays and we wouldn't tell people where we're going because they didn't want us. We didn't want to be judged openly, and people would be like, this isn't a lie. In Australia, we had that restaurant for 8 years, and we never raised the price of coffee. And we would still say, "Oh, obviously we're charging too much for coffee if you get to drive that car," or it would be the way. Whereas here, we notice such a difference. If you're doing well, people will be like high-fiving you.
Yeah, like this is super interesting. In America, we only want to work with people that are doing well.
Yep.
Like my friend has a $250,000 car, and he was like, "When I bought that car, within the next 6 months, my business 3x'd."
Exactly. Yeah.
Like everybody saw him with that car, and everybody wanted to be doing business with him.
That's so different.
Yeah.
Because you'd be saying that guy's a rip-off merchant.
Yeah.
We knew people that were doing really well in Australian real estate, but they would downplay their car. They would drive a different car to a viewing because they didn't want to be seen to be doing well.
Yeah.
And
Because it's here. You want to work with the guy that's winning. Like when people see my studio, they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. This is more than just like a Zoom setup. Like I like this. Like it's just some authority to it."
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, and it's polarizing. These little differences that we didn't even realize would be the case, and it just blew my mind when you could see that.
Because we'd come here. I think the first time we came to Texas together was in 2016 Christmas.
Yeah.
And we're driving, so it's Christmas, and we're driving through like Highland Park and that, and looking at all those like massive houses with all the decorations and all the Mercedes and all
Everyone
their
was
fancy
parked
ass
on
cars.
the street, and the windows were all open.
Yeah.
Never in Australia. If you have a big, beautiful property, you have a very long driveway. You don't let people see anything. Whereas everyone's like out the front,
Yeah.
Yeah,
were
so
like,
in that way, it's really different.
Yeah, very, very different. But
And we were like, we kind of
liked
appreciated
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, we also noticed that if you failed over here, people would give you a second chance. Like we could. Tiger Woods in Australia, we wouldn't. We'd be like, "See you, Tiger. You ain't got." And then so that was a big shock for us too. Like if you were going to go into business with somebody and you knew that they'd had a downfall, you just wouldn't give them another shot. It just wasn't a thing. It's true. Whereas America's the land of the third and fourth chances, which we were like, well, people are trying.
There's a guy who's completely ridiculous, who I'm debating if I want to send this clip after to him. Anyway, he sold a company for $1 billion cash. And most of the time when people sell a company for $1 billion, they don't own it outright. It's not a cash deal. And before, he was like maybe 40 when this happened, or late 40s, mid 40s. But before this, had never had a successful company and had been trying to build one since he was 18.
Yeah.
Just every few years would launch one, tons of debt of everything. He borrows like 10 grand from somebody to make this happen, and it just happened to hit, and then it was off to the races.
Yep.
And paid off everybody, and then sold the company for $1 billion, and now is completely ridiculous. But I mean, like that is the American dream. That's like super plausible.
Yep. And that's what we've learned too. You got to pay to play over here. But you do get the opportunities. We've the same. We've got he's in there most days. He's a New Zealand resident originally, and he's come over here, and he's the same thing. His first big deal he made wasn't until his late 30s or 40s.
I think
same
so.
thing. But down there, just you don't get that chance. You don't, and the population down there isn't sustainable for.
And that's the thing, because in the DFW Metroplex area in Dallas, there's more people than in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane combined, and the Texas economy is bigger than the entire Australian economy. So just that scale, and that was like,
to us, we were like mind blown. Well, how could it not work over there? The Australians probably spend, they've got the disposable income, but they're a lot more cagey with what they do, and whereas Americans really do.
How do they look
us.
at like generational wealth?
I think it depends, and we're super judgy. So
When you say we're super judgy,
we-
Australians are super judgy.
So yeah, exactly. It depends on the person, I think, because we'll judge you if you're a wanker. We'll call you a wanker.
What does a wanker mean?
Wanker is
Thanks for translating everything.
yeah. He'll go off on a tangent. A wanker is like somebody that pleasures themselves too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you've done really well for yourself and you're pretty modest, you get like a bit of a pat on the back. But if you're a bit out there, people are like, oh, I wonder how much the lease on that car is. It's a bit different.
They think they automatically judge you on on your appearance first. But we sound like we're just bagging Australia out.
No, it's just different. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's good and bad everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Somebody once said to us during the height of COVID or the low of COVID, whichever way you want to look at it, they said that America has the best of everything and the worst of everything. And I think everywhere has the best and worst of everything.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a conservative Christian guy. I love China. I've had a ton of fun there. They have 1 million Muslims in concentration camps. They got about 1 million Christians in concentration camps. Their government they have a social credit score. I mean, talk about a terrible place.
What a horrible place,
we
yeah.
should just nuke, right? Like, it just sucks. But I've enjoyed it there. So, like, there can be good and bad. Like, I went to a hot springs. They were outside hot springs in the bamboo forest. So it was snowing, surrounded by bamboo, outside in like 125-degree hot tub. I was like, China's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I got like a meal for like $3. I was like, China's awesome. I probably ate somebody's brains or something. You never know. But I don't know. There's like good and bad everywhere. And it's super strange that people like we haven't had a great time in Dallas. And I always just say like, well, we just haven't found our people yet. Or we just haven't, like I just always try to take responsibility for things. I think that's really what it comes down to is like people just always want to push it on somebody else.
Yeah.
I think that's important. You can look at yourself as well and be like, what can I improve on? Not like everybody else sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we noticed that a lot with the Australians that are over here too. There's definitely there's two groups. There's the people that are like, oh, nobody understands what I say when I go through the drive-through. And then you've got the people that are like, how great is America? We can have barbecue every day. So it's the same thing. It's like, you can choose to kick rocks or you can choose to throw them.
Yeah.
Like it's...
And we consider ourselves very lucky to be over here because we're on an E2 treaty investor visa. So as long as we have some kind of business going, we can kind of stay. And if we get bought out or if we go bust, then we've got to go back home.
Yeah, so we're in a position where we got to make it.
Yeah.
Straight out, U.S. government right
Yeah.
there. You're going to make money and pay taxes or go back home.
Well, just the process to get over here was like we had to not only show how we got the funds, we had to be fully self-funded. So we had to show receipts for when we sold our investment properties, and we had to show what it going through the banks and what we bought it over here. We had to have 70% of the money spent before we could even apply to stay.
Yeah, it's so odd because we let like illegal aliens walk across the border every day, and then if they're caught, if they have a kid in the U.S., then we automatically make them citizens. And it's just the oddest. We for some reason really care and then really don't care.
Yeah, it's challenging. It's very challenging. And the process of doing that, so we came over, we had to set ourselves up as best as we could before we had to go back down there to actually apply and stand in the immigration office, which is like one of the scariest things I've ever been through. And you walk into the office. There's no signage for it because it's the consulate, so it has to be super protected. So we had to walk in, go into a lift with a guard. He opens a door, pushes a button. You don't even know where you're going. You don't know what floor you're going to. You walk into the next room, and you got to take everything out of your pockets, and it's like airport security times a million.
On steroids, yeah.
And then you walk through a hallway, and there's people standing there with guns. You look like you're in America. Like, the guards are dressed in American outfits, and you walk past a photo of the president, and then you stand in a room with a microphone, leaning forward, talking into it, and you're like, yes, please let me go over there. And It's pretty much the way it was. We were only allowed to take in a clear folder and, just our passports.
And your documentations if you.
Nothing else was allowed to go there. There was no toilets. There was no. It was intense.
It was pretty full on.
Yeah. And
So-
then
And then you arrive and you got to build a business here, which is also crazy.
Oh my
Yeah, we kind of did a little bit arse around because
we did it, but there's no book on how to do it.
no. But I mean, we could have, with the visa that we're on, we could have purchased an existing business, but I mean, nothing really fit our kind of style or what we wanted to do. So we thought if we get a shell and then build it out, it would be, we can build our concept into that. But that was the reason why, because there was no existing business that we had to spend everything up, or just about everything up front.
Because you were leaving Australia, was there anybody that you hated that on your last day you were like, by the way, I hate you?
Yeah, plenty.
Hey, by the way, you were a shitty customer all 8 years we were here. And I'm glad we're shutting down.
Oh my God, they came out of the woodwork. You should have seen there were people that were wanting to literally take our mugs from there. There was that was like our bones, and people were picking apart our bones. But then you had the other people that were mourning the fact that we were going. We had people that get tattooed of our logo. We had people that no lie.
Literally.
We had a really big party on the last night we were there at the restaurant, and we had flowers delivered to the door, and there were wreaths, they were mourning the fact that we're gone. Because in Australia, it's a community thing more. It's even though we're in a city, we had our own little community there, and people would, everyone knew the name of each other's dogs, and we watched kids grow up, and we went through a lot with a lot of people. We saw people go through cancer, and the next time we saw them, they were, it was a really, really hard thing. But yeah, there were a lot of people that we extended the middle finger to as we walked out. But yeah, we still have to go back every couple of years, so we can't burn all the bridges.
Yeah, just some of them. No,
No, but it's true though. We've got people down there. I think that when people say, "What do you miss about Australia?" it's definitely family and friends, and there's a lot of things that are different here. But yeah, there's a lot of things we miss too.
So do y'all want to open other coffee shops?
We have plans to open up more coffee shops in the future.
And then do you want to open outside of the state? Are you going to explore other states?
I don't know.
I think there's enough in Texas for us to keep our little.
Because Nashville's the place. I'm telling you.
Well, there's a lot of Australians that we know that for a fact, and we actually have a lot of them that we've met here that have been visiting. So I think Keith Urban's there too. Is that right? Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban. I think they're in Nashville.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've actually never seen her. I've seen him 14 times though.
I saw Keith Urban when I was 12 years old.
What?
Yep, the Gympie Country Music Festival, and I thought he was the most gorgeous thing I'd ever seen in my life. I was like, Keith Urban, I must write that down. Yeah, but he was a baby then too, obviously. But there are a lot of Australians there. So, I mean, I think that we don't want to take over the world. We don't want world domination, but we want our little slice of pie.
Well,
Yeah.
the American way is to try to take up. Just letting you know, it's not the little slice of pie. Is not the American
Right.
way.
I do
notes
like
of
that as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that you can, set your goals for whatever you want. And
Yeah, well, that's the big difference between the
Because
two of us too.
I think most people understand that it's value creation. At the end of the day, I mean, now we're becoming my generation, the definitely Gen Z is definitely lost on this. But for the most part, I'm not mad at Jeff Bezos for being a billionaire because I ran out of hair product this morning and I got it 3 hours later.
Right. Yeah, it's funny because I see the same thing. People are stomping their foot, but it's oh well, but okay, I'll take that now.
yeah, it's kind of you can't wave a flag around and then also buy stuff off Amazon as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another big difference. That's
Shout out to him for building robots that run in massive warehouses and then building a fleet of drivers that he franchised out. He doesn't even own. The whole business. I mean, it's shout out to this guy. AWS, which is hosting and website stuff. I don't know. We pay AWS $50,000 a year, our web development company.
wow.
I pay Amazon $50,000 a year for website stuff, tech stuff. That's part of Amazon. Nobody even realizes it.
I had no idea.
They could literally shut down Amazon.com tomorrow and they would still be a Fortune 500 company just based on their web hosting, because they do the hosting for Netflix and stuff.
Wow.
Like when you stream a video, you're helping Amazon. It's pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a massive reach.
Can't get mad.
And I mean, because that is like, ultimately, it's anybody has a chance at success here, and that is like a really incredible thing.
Yeah.
That is very, I think, unique to the U.S. according to what people say.
100% agree. And that's what we saw. We saw that, and like I said, we could have done exactly what we kept doing down there, but we knew that if we wanted it to be more than just that, this was the place that we had to be to make it happen.
Yeah,
there's just so many things.
Multi-unit, like it seems like I'll just like Europe in general. No, you're like Australia's not Europe, but like Europe in general. When I've been there, it's like people really don't want, like, lifestyle business really is the goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, look, it is. You guys work too hard over here.
Well, too hard.
Way too hard.
Yeah.
We do work hard, but also play hard. So like, I mean, you might work your guts out on a project for like 3 months and have like two weeks off or a week off.
I'm like, hey, we're gonna go see this. We're gonna go see Ed Sheeran at Madison Square Garden. Do you want to come with? Y'all would be like, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The first time I noticed it was I used to travel over here for sport. And then if we came 17-hour flight, we weren't coming over for 3 days. We were coming over here for 3 weeks. Like all of us, like our whole team would stay over there. And all the American players would say, what are y'all doing? We're like, we're going to check things out while we're over here. And they're like, don't you have to go back to work? And we're like, we've got a month.
I've been that guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you afford this?
Yeah.
Like, how do you take off, like
4 weeks of paid leave a year?
How does a company afford to even do? I mean, like, my mind is like, that's just so crazy.
Yeah.
It makes it hard, and that was one of the things for us, because so we had that shop for 8 years, and I mean, we by about the maybe fourth, fifth year, we were like looking at a second location, but even then, it was going to be a bit hard. But I mean, here after like a year and a half, I mean, we're like, we've got great staff, we've almost got our systems procedures in place to be able to move on to the next one, but it
would never have been a thing in Australia.
I mean, we had great stuff over there as well, but the guys here, I don't know, like
they would clock out the second that they were ready to go.
Yeah.
Over here, everyone's got multiple jobs and they want to hustle, and it's a very, very big different culture. So
have you been to Bodolino?
No, we haven't yet.
We should all go there after this podcast. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
Okay. No. But we just noticed there was a big difference in the work ethic as far as that goes, and we actually, Louie and I have traveled to Japan, and we were like, America's not quite at Japan's level of like work levels, but it's really hard. Like, we see people that are like literally working themselves, not having any breaks at all.
What about like standards though? Because that's the thing, is that like different, like Japan has this standard of excellence. Yeah. That is like when they give you a sandwich, it's like, did you paint this?
Yes.
Like, it's the most gorgeous. It's like how it's cut, the bread. It's like, what knife did you use a laser?
Yeah.
It's just, everything is perfect.
Yep.
I think that the biggest difference between I think that from what we can learn from what Japan, how they got to that level was ingrained in them from the minute that they were born. Like, what it's like over there. The schools, they serve each other food. They clean the schools. Like, they literally, whereas I think that here it's a little bit, it's not as bad as Australia, but the kids are allowed to do kids stuff for a while. And I think, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that we do have pretty high standards over there for work. So.
Except the service industry.
Well,
it's far supreme.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Because
you work for tips.
Down there you can do a bad job and still get paid the same money.
Yeah. Are you supposed to tip in Australia?
No.
Okay.
I mean, if we go to a nice dinner, we'll leave.
If you go to a higher end restaurant, it's considered like the right thing to do, but no, not everyone does it. You've got Australian friends, and every time they would come here. They're like, "What? I got to work out a tip." And you're like, yes, you do.
Yeah.
So, here when we're looking at farms, it's like, oh, this one's grass fed, or this one what are the kind of health standards there? Because like we allow like a bunch of bullshit in our foods, and that makes me mad.
There's a lot more transparency back home. Yeah, because it's and I mean that's the whole capitalism thing. Yeah, I think what you can get away with if you're a big business.
Yeah, but it's a very big Velveeta's illegal in Australia.
Good.
So no queso for us.
No queso down there. The standards are like a lot different, and also too, there's not as many like the just even the size of things. Like first thing you do when you've got an Australian come to visit, you go to the grocery store and they laugh at the size of the bags of cereal. Like we would never, and the cereals. Oh my goodness.
Or is this just like a dessert that you mix milk with?
Right?
Yeah,
And I mean, you can have churros for breakfast.
Yeah, but I mean, we do have some of that cereal as well. But I think in general we can probably cook a little bit more and a bit better than. I can't remember. I heard a stat over here. It's like 70% or something like that of the population spends like more on eating out a week than they do on their groceries.
Yeah,
but
whereas in Australia that's not a thing.
We do cook a lot more and take a bit more. I wouldn't say pride, but.
Yeah, there's a lot more. Like you open the cupboard, if you see 3 ingredients, you know what to do to put it together.
Yeah, because see, like I would love to cook more, but I got businesses and work to do.
Yeah, there's different priorities, 100%, 100%. But also too, I think that Australia's a lot more like we're not as car focused. Like, you know, if you're walking over here, people are like, "What's wrong? Are you okay? Where's your car?" Like. You know, like as far as like just lifestyle in general, I think Australians are a little bit more active as well. So I think that goes hand in hand. So, you know, Americans are a lot more convenient, and we noticed that more with COVID. If we had like a sisterhood business down there, they were struggling more because Americans would go through a drive-through rather than cook their own food while COVID was on. And whereas in Australia, that people would just stay home. Like the stay-at-home thing in Australia was people kind of did it. Well, also too because the police were making them, but it's very different as far as the
it's pretty crazy.
I've said it like 100 times. Like I never quarantined. I just kind of like lived my life. I was like, yeah, I got like things to do.
Yeah,
like every business is essential. Like period.
Yeah,
I got a family.
Yeah, yeah.
I like nice things.
Where people were like, okay, then well, I guess we better do what they told us to do, and it was.
Yeah, I mean, we see our circle of people who we're friends with on our social media and that, and we see bits and pieces of the news, but the news it's pretty extreme.
Yeah.
And for a little while, a couple of the states had this idea that they weren't going to reopen until they had zero COVID, and it's like, well, how's that going to happen? Don't know if it can or don't know if it ever will.
Now, are they doing like vaccine mandates too? Are they real into that?
They're bringing
they're very, very, a lot of the businesses down there are making it compulsory.
And there was some protests about, was it last week or the week before, for some of the union like builders who are they're being made a mandate to get the vaccination. They're like, nah. Yeah. And also sick of like all the shutdowns because Melbourne's been shut down so many times and like
it's the most shut down city in the world.
And I just think, you know, if we had our shop back there, like they still have restrictions on dining in Brisbane, even though like Queensland State hasn't.
Oh yeah, you got the perfect timing.
Yeah, we did, and we feel really lucky because of that.
Yes. So I don't know. I just imagine my brother-in-law opened up a coffee shop, a cafe. When I say coffee shop, coffee shop's different here to back home. But anyways, like it's a struggle for him. And then they get a few cases and then they're back on this snap lockdown. It's like, well, shit. What do I do with all that stock that I just got in?
They get no warnings for it at all. And
and then also like everybody knows the data doesn't like make sense. Like that's the thing is like the reason the vaccine is silly to me is because you can still get it and carry it.
Yeah.
Like the only answer is testing. Like there's this idea that like the problem is unvaccinated people, and the problem is we don't test enough. If there's an actual problem, like I'm just not like, you know, I don't have any reason to be scared of COVID, so I'm not. And like if you are, like it's a free country and do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Like that's what's so weird. It's like, hey, if somebody wants to go give you money, like go eat at your cafe, like they should be allowed to do that. Mm-hmm. That's like okay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's one thing that we did notice, a really big difference in the culture while COVID was going on. And it was a bit of a shock for us initially. But then, we felt really lucky that we are where we are. Because, we I don't know if we would have survived down there.
Just being able to have the choice, I think, is a pretty big thing. Whereas it seems like they're taking the choice away from you a lot more. I don't know. But a lot of people seem to be on board with it because they're all for the good of the country and the good of the people, which is good. Because, I mean, you've got to care for your fellow humans, but
but is that how they treated the flu or colds?
Well, that's a thing. Like is
this just how Australia handles like all illness?
I'd never seen it to the extremes that it had.
No,
down there.
It is extreme.
Yeah, but Australia needs tourism. There's no two ways about it, and they really need to have a look at what the priorities are going to be. And we're we're no medical experts, but yeah, something's got to happen because inflation can only happen for so much. And they're talking about changing the structures of, how people buy homes, and they did an incentive down there for you to work on your home. Like they gave each resident that was going to spend $30,000, $15,000 benefits, and it's money's got to come from somewhere.
Well, again, if everybody there is an employee, they don't realize that.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And that's, slightly more entitled kind of people that are like, oh, it's okay, the government should just give me money. Like, we've got to close down. It's right, the government should give me this handout. And, I'm like a third generation small business owner. And so I always I was working since I was 11 and I liked it. But that's why, so my mentality is going to be different to somebody who's always been employed by somebody else. And
so what'd your parents do?
So we had an importing and wholesaling company, kind of like a Cisco or a Benny Keith, but with like wholesale to food service and to restaurants. So a lot of specialty items that were like imported from like Italy and Greece. Yes.
So somebody needed Parmesan cheese.
A lot. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And all four of my grandparents immigrated from Italy to Australia. And on my dad's side of the family, that's kind of like that big business. So he started, my granddad came to North Queensland, cut cane, had nothing, saved up enough money to bring his wife over, and then they started up a convenience store, and then would supply like a lot of Italian stuff, and Greek and all that sort of stuff from overseas for the local community. And they kind of just grew into, before they sold it was the biggest privately owned import and wholesaler in the state. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And he was like a really well respected member of the Italian community because he used to help other Italians get on their feet. And so the little deli that they started was just like a really important thing for the community. And Australia's just, we're all immigrants down there other than the First Nations people. So, just everybody. Yeah, that's a really big factor on how.
So did you take your same menu you had back there and put it here?
Initially, yeah. Initially we did. Yeah, we obviously had to do a lot of converting because America, all the systems and and so we had to do a lot of and trying to work out. So part of the immigration process is you need a 15-year business plan. So we were back there working out the the differences in menu costing, and so that was quite a time. But we the first menu we launched it here, and there were a lot of hits, and one or two misses, but then we just tweak it seasonally. Big struggle was trying to find the ingredients and learning how things are done here, which is
what's the hardest ingredient to source?
Remember halloumi?
Halloumi was hard.
Halloumi is like a Greek style cheese, but we obviously, being Australian, we steal everything from every other country and call it our own.
Nice, good move.
Yes. So we got in contact.
At least you're honest about it. China does it. It's like, no, we did invent this.
No. Yeah. So we got in contact with the cheese supplier and we said, do you have this cheese? And they said, yeah, but we don't sell much of it. And we're like, really? Like it's in memes in Australia. Like it's so popular down there that it has its own Facebook. It's got its own Facebook pages. Like halloumi is life. And so we're like, really? We found that a bit weird. Like, yeah, it's a bit chewy. And you're like, you grill it, right? And they're like, oh, really? We're like, yeah. So we're teaching Americans about cheese, and that seemed really weird to us. But yeah, that was one of our hardest ingredients. And there were some things that we just gave up on, like watercress. Remember watercress?
Oh yeah.
My God, watercress.
And I think part of it's from where we are.
Yeah, we were really fortunate where we were and down there, that you could just, we would have a grocer deliver. We would have, all the different deliveries every day, whereas here it's very, very different. Generally restaurants have a single supplier. And
then you might, like for your main stuff, then you might have like a fruit and veg guy, like a bakery. You could have like a butcher separately.
Do you all do stuff in house? Like, do you make your own bread or?
Not that extreme.
But bread was really important to us because Australians, we don't really have any of the traditional like white bread. We have everything sourdough or ciabatta or, we don't have any So that was important, but we were really lucky that we came across a really good baker here that delivers every day.
But also our white bread isn't like a confectionery product. Like it's not sweets. Like everything's freaking sweet over here, you know.
Amen. Yeah, let's go.
Like,
Yeah, I know,
when my mum came,
Oh, my God.
we went to a Servo, which is a gas station, and she's like, I'm just gonna get this salad sandwich.
I'm just going to get this sandwich. So she's driving in the car in the passenger seat of the car, and she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, I feel like I'm having dessert and lunch at the same time. And we did the experiment where we had a loaf that we sat on top. Remember that loaf that we had that was sat on top of the microwave or something? And we're like, it still looks the same. Let's see how long it stays the same. To an Australian, if you don't go through your bread that day, it becomes breadcrumbs for the next night's dinner. Like, we don't keep bread for more than a day. It's weird for us.
See, like I love bread. That's my favorite thing. So that's my favorite part about being in other countries is like really caring about bread.
Yep.
We have some good breads.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it's and we're still. So we were supposed to, while our shop was being built, we were supposed to like do a bit of a tour for a couple of weeks around America because we're like, all right, you know, our shop was still running by itself back home. It only had like a limited time till it had to close down till the lease ran out. And then we're like, all right, we'll find a place, lease it, and then get it built. But then we got stuck in Australia for a few months on advice from our immigration attorney. So we're like sleeping on people's beds and shit. So, you know.
we didn't have the opportunity to see the rest of America.
No, exactly.
Like we would have.
So we've discovered Texas and we've been to like, you know, New York and all the big places, LA.
Vegas,
And like I think that our
typical places.
Yeah. I think like these Aussie food scene might be a bit similar to like California.
Like
a bit more farm to table, a bit more
a little bit more clean green.
Yeah.
A little bit more colour on the plate.
How far is your location from here?
Frisco. So
25 minutes.
Yeah. So we find that the Californians when they come in, and I know we're not supposed to California, Texas, but we've noticed that they seem to be like, oh, this reminds me of. So yeah.
Do they have vegan? Do you have vegan options?
It's big. Well, for us, we have a few because we make everything fresh in our menu. We can kind of like tweak things and sub bits in and out. But like the vegan movement is massive in Australia.
It's very, very.
Oh yeah, fuck Australia. Now that I know this, I'm done.
To be honest, it
was kind of bothering me, but now that I know there's a vegan movement, I'm out.
Vegan movement is massive in Australia.
I just want them to stop calling meat. Like stop saying like, oh, this is
Beyond Meat and all that.
Yeah, it's like no, like they're like, oh, this is vegan chicken. No, because vegan chicken comes from an animal.
Yeah, I struggle with calling almond milk because you don't milk it. Like what? So it's really and it is quite shouty down there as well. And you know when you see somebody's bio on Instagram, it's always going to have vegan in it.
Oh yeah,
because you
gotta let everybody know for sure. I was really not going to follow you, but now it's you're vegan. Yeah,
we're in. Yeah, no, but I mean, everyone to their own cause, but it gets to a point where if you're getting screamed at in a steakhouse for having a steak because somebody's walked in with a megaphone, that's where you lose me. Yes, that's actually not. Yeah, that's real life. There was a farm to table. I think it was in Victoria restaurant, and they had the livestock on the property, and a vegan group came in and let them all out, and half of them got hit by cars anyway. But yeah, the business finished up closing down as a result of.
Oh man, if I was the owner, I would grab my shotgun.
Well, you're not allowed to.
Go.
We've had that chat. No guns allowed. But yeah, and then what about the lady that got her neighbour fined because he was cooking a barbecue and the smoke went into her property?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a bit extreme.
Have you ever heard the quote, play stupid games, win stupid prizes?
Yep.
That's one I like to play by. Like, I hope somebody breaks into my house. Please.
Yeah. And that's one thing that we've tried to tell our Australian friends is like, there's no home invasions over here because
you just assume everybody's got a gun.
Yeah, it's a big difference. So like where our restaurant was in Australia was in quite an affluent area, and the home invasions, and you're encouraged if somebody breaks into your house down there just to let them do what they need to, and then
good.
Yeah, you're encouraged to be quiet. And so the big thing down there is they'll break in, they'll grab your car keys, your phone and your purse, and they'll literally drive away in your car.
Yeah, or they'll come back in like a couple of days or a week and then steal that car because they've got your garage remote open, and I just hope that you haven't
Yep.
changed it over yet.
Because I'm on still all the social media pages down there, and there's like 2 or 3 of them happen a day in like a small area. Yeah.
It is pretty crazy.
It's weird when like law and order must exist. I mean, that was like when Trump was saying like, hey, like we don't have a nation without law and order, and people are like freaking out. I'm like, guys, this isn't a conservative or Republican thing. This is just like a very like you don't have a country without it. Like you have chaos without law and order. Like the opposite of law and order is chaos.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a crazy
Anarchy,
thing.
yeah.
We actually had like a lot of customers who were friends who were police as well, and they were
crippled down there.
Yeah, because the laws are almost a little bit in the favour of like the criminal. Like if there's just so much paperwork, and then you get somebody to take them in, and they get.
So what about the no chase law down there?
Yeah.
So if you've stolen a car and you're driving, and the police are following you, and if you ring our version of 911 and say I'm afraid for my life, the police actually have to back off for 3 hours. They're not allowed to pursue you.
Yeah. So, but even like it's insane, and that's why that's a pretty extreme thing. But
That's who we should allow come to the U.S.
Right?
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah,
They would like come try to steal my car and just not walk out. That'd be great.
you ain't doing it.
We had a friend that was in our version of SWAT, and it was a known car thief in a drive-through of McDonald's, and they had like Land Cruisers. What are Land Cruisers over here? Are they Land Cruisers?
Yeah.
Yep. They were in Land Cruisers, and they blocked him front and back, and they called it in to say we've got him, and they were told to remove the car and let him leave because of it was too
It could have been a
dangerous.
public safety risk.
So they had this guy that they'd been chasing for a long time, but they were told to say goodbye to him and have a great day. So yeah,
It's pretty crazy.
it's different. Shout out to those boys down there.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane.
So yeah,
Like I brought a gun into the state fair 2 days ago.
well, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, it was they actually had metal detectors, and I was like, oh shit. So I just like pulled it out real quick and put it like underneath the stroller.
Yeah.
And then like they didn't even check the stroller, and
Wow.
I was like, well, this is cool.
To us, that's like
My wife actually doesn't know yet. I didn't
She's
want
gonna
to
find out soon.
I didn't want her to like. I don't think she has a problem with it, but I didn't want to go back to the car because we had to walk. We had to park so far away, and I was like, "Well, the worst that's going to happen, like,
is you're going to be told that you have to go back to the
yeah."
car.
And I'm like, "Oh, I can't have a gun on my stroller. You got to play dumb about it. Oh, this is a problem.
Well, that's I mean, what is it? From the first of this month, you're allowed to carry without even like a license or anything.
Amen. Let's go.
Yeah,
That's
to
constitutional
us, we're
carry
like,
is what that is. Yeah.
But even, I mean, going back to when we had our license in Australia to shoot, like, it's...
Yeah, you have to. So when you store your guns at home, you have to have a bolt down safe. You have to have the gun in that, and then the bolt has to be out in a different compartment locked. And then do your ammo have to be in a different compartment again?
I think the bolt and the magazines have got to be in that top lock part, because
So-
you can't actually use your weapons for self-defense. I mean, if somebody breaks in, you
So
can't
yeah, if
just...
someone breaks in, you go, hang on, can you just hang on 1 second? I've just got to assemble it. Just give me one moment.
Because I mean, if if somebody comes in with a bat and then you like freak out and get a knife and you stab this guy to death, then you could possibly go to jail for using excessive force, even though they've broken into your house.
Wait. So in the way that we have like excessive force for police officers,
Yes.
you have excessive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's wow.
So those like little things, I mean, they are pretty
So
extreme.
if you're a
but,
criminal, you should get taught. That's the place to live,
well,
right?
We're the convict colony, remember?
and that's why our police friends used to get so pissed off, because they'd be like, all right, we just got these couple of juveniles who have been broken into 6 houses. We've got all this stuff from them. They go into juvie for a few days, and then they learn
more tricks.
They learn how to break in house even better, and then they get out, and they're like, "Oh fuck you! You can't, where you can't touch us. We're a minor," and and that's why the police are like, "Oh, what do we, like we might as well not even bother getting these kids, because by the time you do your paperwork and they get out and their network gets bigger and then they're back on the street, it's kind of like."
And it is funny when you hear Australians compare Australia to America about the gun laws. And
because
it's very ignorant. They're just like, oh, well, why don't you just get rid of guns in America? And it's like,
that's kind of impossible.
Work like that.
But I mean, luckily we definitely can see both sides.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think that I'm probably maybe a little bit more conservative, but like from the center.
Yeah.
So we try and look at both sides.
Yeah, so when we see the school shootings and things like that over here, that's where we as Australians we're like that puts our hackles up because we're like that would never happen down there. But it's kind of like it's just a very big difference.
Yeah, there's this. I wish the number was better, but the FBI estimates that like between 500,000 and 3 million lives are saved a year because of guns.
Right.
And like nobody ever
Never
talks about that.
no.
Yeah, and it's like so. Yes, we do know that 30,000 people die a year because of guns, mostly all handguns, and nobody's trying to ban handguns. Everybody's trying to ban rifles, which are about 300 people a year. Knives are about 500 people a year.
Yeah.
So it's just like more people die of knife stabbings than of rifles. But nobody talks about like pistols. So that's 30,000 deaths. 10,000 of that's suicide though. So it's really 20,000. And it's like, look, like 20,000 people getting killed by a gun, but 500,000 lives being saved.
Yeah.
I guess I'll take it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's a weird thing because it's like, I guess are the murder rates like low there?
Yeah, they things like I was saying before, home invasions and accidental deaths as a result of them are probably per capita. It's domestic violence is where Australia suffers the most. Just purely, I think it's mainly because of the alcoholism and the drug abuse and things that go along
Things
with
that
it.
lead
Yeah.
domestic violence.
Yes, football games. Australia struggles more with that. But it sounds terrible, but the deaths down there as a result of it are generally more horrific because they set their wives on fire versus
because I just kind of have this idea that like if somebody wants to kill somebody, they'll just kill them, whether it's a car, whether it's a bat, whether it's like so. That's like kind of the whole thing with like the whole reason for constitutional carry is one, it's like in the Constitution, but it also made sense that like this is kind of the big debate. It's like, well, criminals don't care about laws, so like the fact that we make it hard for non-criminals to own guns, and then we make it hard for criminals to own guns, but they can just do it illegally. Like, make it hard for them to legally own guns.
Yeah, no,
like, that's what everybody seems to, like, always miss. And it's like, and then they always do like, you hit it the nail on the head, is the size of the country is what everybody, like, forgets. There's 350 million people in the U.S.
Yeah. That's one of the biggest misconceptions. And also, too, down there, that, you can't, it's like comparing a dog and a cat. They're not the same. Definitely not the same.
So what are your thoughts on Yelp reviews and Google reviews?
We love them. We actually really do. Louis remembers all our stats. Our first year we were number...
I think so. 2020, we were, from all our 5-star Yelps, we were like number 30 of the top 100 places to eat in America. And then this year, we're in the top 100 places to eat in Texas, and then the top 100 places to brunch in America as well. So
Americans are so easy to look
after. What's your brunch
after.
menu? Do you got chicken and waffles?
No,
I'm
sir.
I'm out.
See ya. Bye. No, we couldn't believe. Like, to be honest, we work really hard, but we couldn't believe how easy it was to please Americans. Americans are really, really low maintenance, wonderful people. And Australia, I think we noticed that everybody down there is really quite astute in restaurant dining, and everybody's an expert and, very, very severe on their critiques. Whereas over here, everyone was like, oh, these guys, the fact that we were the ones that were talking to the people in the restaurant, and everything that we put out on our plates, we make sure is handpicked. We put a lot of care and effort into presentation and making sure that not only does it look good, it tastes good. And so we were really, we loved them. We love our Yelp reviews.
yeah, I don't know. I always, and even back home, like, I mean, if you got a bad review, I mean, I'd always be like, okay, did we screw up, and then sometimes that person just an imbecile or whatever, or just having a bad day.
Yeah.
What's your brunch menu? Let me hear about this.
Our brunch, well, I mean,
Are there cinnamon rolls?
no.
Oh, man.
Come
There's no chicken and
on.
waffles or cinnamon
Nah.
rolls? This is...
This is
Stick it.
Australia. We're
No,
not
so
about filling it up with
We've
stuff.
tried to be as authentic to back home as possible with our ingredients, and the amount of chains that are over here is
the
it's
chains.
crazy.
Yeah.
So
That's what I hate most about Dallas.
Yeah.
Like, the thing about Nashville is, like, a lot of things are local. We're here,
Yeah.
everything's a chain. That's
Yeah.
so annoying.
What's the percentage down in Australia? It's like 93%.
it's like 90 something percent like independently owned.
We don't chain. We sent Starbucks out of Australia.
I think they closed about 65 or 70% of their stores because our coffee culture is, I mean, it's just so different. We've always been espresso based because of all those Italian immigrants that came in the 50s and that, you know, so that's how our cafe scene started. And then because we're all individually owned, you're like, and there's so many of us, we're like, all right,
what's different spins on it?
Yeah, so what's the current trends, and you know, like you want to differentiate yourself. It's not just like chain versus chain, on, you know, fighting on pricing.
Yeah.
So
we noticed when they opened the Starbucks, people would come in and buy their cups and use the Wi-Fi, but that would be where it would end. Like it wasn't. You didn't go to Starbucks to drink coffee, like it, and then even then they disappeared really quickly. And they just stayed in the capital cities for tourism.
In your big shopping centres and that.
Yeah,
so.
but like I said, down there, everything you've got to be really, really proactive and making sure that you're staying in front of the trends. And we would steal things from other countries and turn it into your own. There's a lot of fusion. Like the breakfast down there is like, very, very eclectic. It's well in front of here when it comes to having like elements on plates, but then again, so is the price point. You can't go too crazy here because you still have to stay competitive for price, but you want to be, that little bit edgy.
So let's hear this brunch menu.
So like on our breakfast, well, we have a dish that we've started with. One of our chefs back home actually created for us. It's a breakfast gnocchi. So it's
a gnocchi.
Gnocchi is like the potato dumplings.
Okay.
The Italian,
we got you with potato, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
stop judging me.
I saw your judgy face.
So we'll do that.
It's more like a breakfast salad. So it's still got bacon, check. Potato, check. But so it's tossed through sage, caramelized onions, garlic. So and it's got poached eggs on the top, which is another thing which is new to America. Poached eggs.
Maybe I don't know. We say America, but definitely Texas.
Yeah.
The Texas standard seems to be over medium and crispy bacon, and it's like, well,
we do offer that. Obviously, we've got to have something for everyone to have, but we do have.
So if I walk in, I'm like, I want scrambled eggs, steak, potatoes.
We do tick the boxes when it comes to making sure that. If we've got a big family coming in and the grandfather's a bit more traditional, there's omelettes on the menu. Like, we do
omelettes. We do bennies.
Yeah, we don't definitely say, that's not good enough. But we do have something that will appeal to everybody at the table. Like,
Yeah, like what does the average 7-year-old eat? Because that's what I'll be ordering.
So we actually, our 7-year-olds are quite. We have them drag their parents in because of our hot cakes. So we are hotcakes. We've got right. So it's got a scoop of ice cream, cotton candy, and our berry coulis. So people are like, "What?" Because Australians don't tend to eat hotcakes for breakfast as a dish. It seems to be like a breakfast dessert. We'd put it in the center of the table and we'd share it. But we obviously tick the box with the kids because they're like cotton. What is it called?
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy. We call it fairy floss. So that's another thing that really appeals to the kids. But the adult hotcakes, so a stack of 5, and we do fresh fruit and grill.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so we grill some pineapple and and the berry coulis we make in houses, which is just a combination of the raspberries, strawberries, and blueberries, and we cook them down until they become a sauce. And so
we'll be there tomorrow morning. I'll tell you that.
Cheesecake crumb and
cheesecake crumb. Yeah, and our French toast is at the moment we've got a Rocky Road French toast because Rocky Roads in Australia is like a really popular like chocolate, and so we've got so they've got the peanuts, the chocolate sauce,
the candy, some little mini marshmallows, a scoop of ice cream, So
all
right, so y'all American, you throw sugar on everything like a good American.
We do.
At least ours is transparent. You can see our sugar. It's not like Sonic ice cubes.
People do say that a lot.
Does Sonic have sugar in their ice cubes?
Sonic public service announcement. Yes.
No way.
Yep.
Did you know this?
One of our staff members used to work for Sonic. I hope will not name him, but there is sugar in the ice cubes. That's why everybody likes it so much.
Fact check this right now.
Please do. Also, I think that the reason they do it is so that when it melts into your soda, as you call it, it doesn't water it down.
How do you say?
We call them soft drinks.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Since I grew up, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's one thing that we have to translate.
Okay, so Australia, that's where they used to just send criminals, right?
Right. So from what I've heard is when they shut down Was Boston the original?
Somebody was saying this the other day.
Yeah. So they've only been
sorry.
white settled since 1788. And that was when they were white discovered. And that's when they did a massacre on all the Indigenous Australians. And then they turned it into a penal colony because it was too arid and like wasn't a nice place for people to settle. And then from that, it just sort of started getting small hubs. And I think Sydney was the first. I'm trying to remember all my English.
I'm terrible.
All my history.
Don't ask me. I was reading car magazines when I should have
You
been.
were in private school reading car magazines.
You a car guy?
I like cars.
Yeah. That's the other thing that we like better about over here is the
I mean, you're not supposed to, but you've got a little bit more freedom when you drive.
over here versus there.
Yeah.
The impounds are horrific down there.
I got pulled over going. He was like, "You're going 9 to 2."
9 to 2.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, I was," and he was like, "Yep, that's what I caught you at." I was like, "Well, sorry about it."
Right. You would literally be cuffed in Australia. Yeah.
92.
I think you would lose your car at that, I'd say.
I know. The fastest I've gone on the interstate is like 188, maybe.
Holy crap.
Holy smokes.
So I've gone pretty fast before.
Yeah, no, you would not do that down there. You would be like, okay, well, that was my car getting crushed. Is it 3 strikes down there? So if you get caught once.
Yeah, but don't I just say that I feel like my life's in danger? And then
That's when you've stolen the car.
oh,
Yeah,
okay. So the key is
yeah.
to steal it and go really
Yeah,
fast.
Yeah, that's allowed. Yeah, no,
So I think the fastest legal speed limit in Australia
is
is
it 110?
110 kilometres an hour, which is 68 miles an hour.
That's the absolute highest of highs.
I have an electric bicycle in there that goes about that.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, no, the car culture down there is the only time you can go fast legally is on drag strips. But
Pretty
other
well.
than that, yeah, there's nowhere to. Yeah, and if you break traction, I think it's 24 hours impound.
Yeah, I think if you like break traction or if you get caught racing and
Yep.
that sort of stuff, they can impound your car 48 hours and then 3 months and then the third
crushed.
time they take your car.
And they crush it.
So that's pretty strict.
So yeah, the car culture over here is a bit more relaxed. I mean,
Wow.
imagine if you drove into the middle of the city and saw the donuts that you have like down on.
I know.
In Dallas, how there's like all donuts.
Yeah.
Although we
like,
do have a pretty good car culture. Like we
Oh,
do like
yeah.
to do. We call them skids.
Yeah,
Rip a
skids.
good skid.
Yeah.
Do a burnout.
Do burnouts until
Yeah.
your tires blow.
Yep.
That's a thing. But all at car shows, you would never do it on the street because you just risk losing your car.
Well, yeah, you can. You just you only get in trouble if you get caught. Really.
But
What's that?
Yeah, amen.
he's talking like a true Texan.
Well, I mean, even back there.
Yeah.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Give me my day in court. You get a day in court there?
So you can. I had to go to contest a ticket, but it's not like here where you can, if you get caught speeding, whatever, you can like go and do a defensive driving course, and then they can take those points off. Like if you lose those points back home, you lose them for 3 years.
Yeah, you get 12 points for 3 years. And if you accumulate that, then you've got to go on to like a work license.
Yeah.
So, here, you'll notice that like rich people don't care about getting tickets. And the reason why is because like tickets don't hold up in court.
Oh, really?
So like I know people that on average get like 2 to 3 tickets a week.
Oh, really?
And then like once every couple months they'll go in, they'll just get them all dropped.
Could you please not tell Louis that?
Yeah. all
Please
right.
don't tell him that.
So essentially there's, they'll say, hey, I caught you with a AM 3000 laser gun going 90 and a 70, right? And so you go, okay. And they'll say, and I zoned it in this morning. I calibrated this morning at 50 yards from blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, what color was the wall you calibrated it against?
Oh, you're kidding.
And it's like, oh, it wasn't black and white stripes. Sorry, that's required. Who certified the calibration?
You're making notes.
Oh,
That's crazy.
And so you can essentially continue to ask questions where they're required to throw it out eventually because there's not enough evidence. But essentially, if you say who certified it, you can then go, you'll need to present their certification here in court. And so at that point, it's like it's going to get thrown out. But there's a lot of things you can go, and you can wipe somebody up with it if you have the right attorney. But essentially, here in the States, we have like traffic-only attorneys.
Yeah, we've heard their ads.
So, well, a lot of those are for like car wrecks or whatever. Yeah. Like this is like purely just for like speeding tickets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
So I do like this, I just kind of do whatever I want for that reason of like I know that like my day in court. I don't try to be reckless. Like that's the thing is like I don't drive fast here because like Dallas scares me.
It's terrifying.
Like Dallas is this weird thing where we got 3 cups here, so I can do a good analogy. Pass me that one. All right, so here is grab that. Here's the interstate ramp.
Mm-hmm. Oh
yeah. Here. All right, so I'm in the road to go onto the interstate. And here's a guy 3 lanes over.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, instead of just braking and going over.
No, that's not the Texas way.
Yeah. Or just trying to jam in front of me. Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, this is the median.
Yeah.
This is a median. This dude goes onto the interstate.
The amount of near misses that we see.
And I mean, excellent.
We're in a shop so often, so it's not like the way.
We had some Australian friends that came over. You remembered which cup was which. And they would scream out, Texas, every time they saw something like that happen. And so now they've continued that back in Australia. Every time they see something reckless, they go, Texas.
It's the crazy. It's the thing that my wife won't even drive. Like my wife hates driving here. She feels like her life's at risk. And I don't blame. I mean, it's ridiculous to see that because it's like that guy, like.
You don't have to do that.
So I've watched 7 wrecks happen and I've been here 1 year and that's watched them happen in front of me. In my whole life, I'd maybe seen 2 wrecks happen in front of me before.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a thing.
All right.
And they do weird stuff like on 635 is like wide open, awesome. It's like 5 lanes. It's a toll road. It's great. Speaking of that, I got a bill for a $300 that I owe the toll road, even though I have a toll tag. So I don't understand how anything works.
You got to pay that.
Oh, God, those guys.
Because they come after you.
Oh, do you have a little personal?
He doesn't sound experienced at all.
One of our staff got like this massive bill. They're like, holy crap, I didn't even know that happened. But yeah, they had to go on a
But I have the tag thing. That's what's so. I don't.
How bizarre.
Okay, so 635, 5 lanes, and all of a sudden there's just cones blocking a lane, and then cones blocking another lane to where it's 3 lanes, and just random cones just appear. No construction, no anything, and so I watch all these wrecks happen. Or almost happen because people are driving. All of a sudden, there's a cone in their way, and they have to like swerve over. Come to find out, Dallas has been shutting down lanes to encourage people to drive slower on the freeways
instead of just putting a trooper out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a bit crazy.
And so it's like this is how somebody ran into the back of us. It's like 3 lanes like this, and typically when you merge onto the interstate. You merge on, and then you gradually, you merge in, right? Mm-hmm. Well, what they did is they blocked the on-ramp.
Because they started driving, they're like, oh.
Because apparently there's going to be like construction going on over here. So they blocked the on-ramp. So what you did is you drive, and then next thing you know, you're actually coming in at this angle. So next thing you know, you're entering 3 lanes of moving traffic. So I slam on my brakes right here.
Of course you do.
And then there's no car behind me or anything, but because it's kind of like, this car, we'll pretend, so another car behind me is just going to merge on the interstate. And the next thing they know, like where I was shocked that I was running into moving traffic, they were shocked that a car was stopped at the yield sign to merge on, and they just ran right in the back of me.
Oh, so really who was at fault was who shut the lane down.
Well, I think they're at fault for running up your backside.
Yeah, obviously. But like,
did you call the car a cowboy?
Here's what's crazy. As we're pulled over, I watched 2 other wrecks happen. The exact same way. Like a car stops there, car runs right in the back of them. The one that
whose idea was this?
Yeah, and
who was in charge of
there
this?
wasn't even construction going on, but there might have been that later on that night or whatever. I mean, it's just
needed a representative in there. Like, what's going on?
Look, that's a good idea if you've got like a tow truck company. Like, it's been a bit quiet. Let's just set these freaking witches hats up here,
and then sit back with your popcorn.
Seriously, the ambulance people were like, we have no clue why. Even the police officers showed up. They're like, yeah, we don't know why this shut down, but like they're as police are writing this report, they're like watching Redstone what's happened. Like, yeah, this is crazy.
To us, that's a really crazy thing because the only people that work on the roads in Australia are government funded. So they're all
not private contractors.
Yeah, there's no private contractors down there. So when you see roadworks down there, it's like it's going to be there for 12 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
everybody complains about the roadworks around here. You're like, that's cute.
They get stuff done.
Yeah, they don't mess around.
I mean, I complain about it.
Yeah,
so it's all about perspective. That's what it comes down to. So this guy, the crazy was, so 2 cars stopped here because, this car stops. This car almost runs in the back. We're over here, paperwork. This car is going like 60, sees the 2 cars, decides to hop over the curve, like the merge. Like, because again, it doesn't like merge. It's like you merge directly into the moving interstate. There's no onboarding ramp. So he just goes like right over and right in front of a semi and then just dodges the semi, like doesn't get T-boned, but is so close.
How lucky.
And I was like, this is the craziest thing ever.
So was he trying to avoid it? Was he like, I'm late?
He was trying to avoid it. Like he essentially, he did the Dallas thing. So the Dallas thing is when you see something that could be wrong, you commit harder.
Yeah. That's it.
It's so it's like this, like the first analogy I laid out. So, the set of the guy is like, okay, there's all these cars here. Instead of me just slowing down and then merging with everybody else, he's like, I'm going to floor and try to split that gap. Like
hesitation
they just commit harder. It's so weird to me.
I respect it.
What was that meme we saw? Texans would rather lose their life than miss their turn off or something like that. And it was like,
yeah.
And we're like, that's true.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
we love it when we pick an Australian up from the airport because as you come out, how you've got the toll booths where you throw the money in, and then
it goes from like 10 lanes to
drag strip. You're like, Louis, like I remember him picking his mum up because she doesn't drive on a highway in Australia. And then we pick her up from the airport. And she's like, "Oh, the flight was lovely." And then you just see her sitting in the seat with her knuckles like this. We're like,
it's my wife everywhere we drive. I don't drive crazy. She just gets so nervous about like everything around us. Like like your parents would tell you growing up, "We're not worried about you. We're worried about other drivers."
Yeah. You're the other driver.
Yeah, and I just remember thinking like, "That's so stupid and not true and whatever." I moved here and I'm like, "Oh, that's a real statement." Like. Yeah. It's totally true. Like I would not like at 18. I'm looking at me at 16.
Yeah.
I cannot do it. I could not let my kid get a license here at 18.
It's intense. We think the same thing.
But at least
we also love it.
The roads are pretty wide over here though. Like
it's always entertaining. It's always interesting. And where would the car wreck cowboy be if Dallas wasn't the way it is? Or the hammer guy, where would they be?
The Texas Hammer.
Yeah. That is just so comical to us. Like the ads over here. Oh my! Like
I'm guessing there's advertising restrictions.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't advertise any medical products in Australia. So
I think is a good thing.
Yeah. When we see the whole, this might cause death. This might cause suicide. This might. We're like, what?
Yeah. Because it was so funny because the first few times that we came over here on a vacation. And we're like in a hotel, going to go to bed, and you've got the TV on the background. You listen to these commercials, and you're like, "What is this?" Like,
now we're just so used to them that it's not until somebody else points it out, and we're like, oh.
And then even like when my mum was over here, it was the first time she visited was last year, just before COVID happened.
Actually, when COVID happened.
Well, yeah, exactly. And they had like a class action. If you had this and between this and you might,
talcum powder back in 2009.
And she was like, "Oh, it doesn't sound right." I'm like, "Well." It's different to what we're used to.
Yeah.
And
she was actually really taken back by this class action. It's like, well, it gives people an opportunity to know about it.
Well, if you never knew about it,
I had a friend that made his first million by there was a class action lawsuit with Visa that they were overcharging people and they had to and so he made a really ugly website. And by doing that, people thought it was like a law firm for sure. Like he had a really attractive website and he got less leads than when it was like ugly.
Oh, really?
But anyway, he mailed out forms to like hundreds of thousands of businesses that were being overcharged. Because, in the class action, they're required to like release everybody that was like, they're required to release all the info, I think. And so anyway, they would fill out this form and mail it back and then they'd get 50% of the payout when it came.
Oh, wow. So did he buy all the debts?
No. So this was just a payout and he just helped these people get their payout and he took 50% of their total payout for doing it. So it was like get no money or get something.
Well, at least he was transparent about it.
And I was thinking, man, if I got something in the mail, because he made like a couple $1 million doing this. I was like, if I get something in the mail that says you're entitled, Visa overpaid you, blah blah blah, fill out this form and mail it back to us, and we'll give you a cut. I'd be like, yeah, this isn't real.
Who does that?
So the fact that like tens of thousands of business owners did it, I was just like, that's mind blowing to me.
No, that's the other thing that we find strange too. Like all the funny mail that you get with all the offers for this and offers for that. We're like,
how did you get my friggin' address?
Yeah, we've got a watchdog in Australia that stops stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's strange, but yeah, I mean, same thing. Got to pay to play.
Maybe that's your next shirt. You should have a little koala here, and it should say "pay to play" on the back.
Pay to play.
I do like that. I like that saying because it is true.
It's true. And we so when COVID first hit, we were due to renew. So every 4 years or every 3 years you got to leave the country.
I think it's every 2
years. Forget about me. So we were due to get a restamp on our passport, and so we were going back to Australia, and then we couldn't, obviously.
Well, we could, but we would have had to be quarantined in a hotel for 2 weeks, and then when you got a small business and you wanted to go for a few days, you can't afford to.
You can't afford to go for that would have been 3+ weeks.
And you get to pay for the hotel, right?
And you get to pay for the hotel. You don't get to pick the hotel. You don't get to pick your food. You don't get to anyway. So we were like, well, that's not us. And then we planned to go to Belize, I think, wasn't it? Yeah. And then Louis got COVID. And so we couldn't go there. And
congratulations.
Yeah,
Found it.
he made it, obviously. And he was then continually to test positive for like 30 days afterwards. So we had to go to a country that didn't have the testing at that stage. And because we were going to be technically illegal before too long.
Yeah, because what it is that PCR tests don't work.
Yeah.
I can say this because I had he's not a virologist, but he's the professor of chemistry for like University of Texas or something crazy. And he was like, I only do peer-reviewed white papers. Like that's the only thing I comment on. And it's like, he was explaining the science behind PCR tests. And he was like, all it does is see if it's in your body.
Yeah. And
it doesn't see if your body's fighting it or not, or if you're spreading it.
Yep. And so, we finished up, we did like 5 tests the week we were due to go away. And we were trying everything. We got the Navage to try and get it out of him. He was like snorting mouthwash. We were like doing everything we could. And in
that sucked.
It was really intense. And he was fine, obviously.
It was the worst is when they put it up your nose. Like it's just like they scrape your brain.
He nearly had no skin there because of the amount of tests that he got to try and get a negative one.
So we ended up
we
there.
were like frequent flyers through that little PCR. So we finished up then going to Costa Rica for 4 hours to get our stamp. And so when we come back through DFW, that took longer than actually doing anything else. It was just getting through the airport.
Wow.
And we come to the big stamp and the immigration official looks at the documents. He says, you were only there overnight. We're like, yep, that's what you guys need. And he goes, we do make it hard, don't we? And he just stamps us all through. So we literally, we left the airport for 2 hours. We slept for 2 hours. We went back to the airport, and that was all we could do because US was bringing in the
pro move
tests.
To do is come here illegally or come here as a tourist, have a child and stay and figure it out. Like, I don't know, like there's just like...
Is that all I had to do after all that? Gosh.
Yeah.
No, so when we landed, we had 2 suitcases each, a cat, and nowhere to live. That's literally how we started. Because we had an Airbnb for 4 days, but because we had no social security, we had no driver's license, we had no credit history, we were like in our 30s and we had nothing. We were like starting again from scratch. So we had to pay 6 months in advance rent to live somewhere before anyone would let us live in a property. So we were cashed, but we had no history here, so nobody would touch us. And so we were literally like new kids in a foreign country with...
Have you all ever thought about getting a koala bear?
They're not. Do you know that they're not a bear? This is my second fact that I've had come up with today. They're not a bear.
A koala?
No, they're just a koala. They're a marsupial. We actually thought about doing the T-shirt "Not a Bear" because everyone calls them bears. But so we thought, what were we going to do? But we had to just keep going. So we had to. When you come to America, you got to do your driving test again. We had to go to the, what is it? Is it called the DPS?
DMV.
DMV, sorry,
Yeah.
DMV. and we had to go and you had to do the
Another
test.
fine U.S. organization that
know,
runs
right?
very smoothly.
We couldn't believe we drove to Decatur. We're like, let's go for a drive so we don't have to stand in the line for 6 hours. Went to Whataburger. That was the highlight. There's a really good guy out there called Paul. I remember.
I don't like Whataburger that much.
Well,
Do you?
yeah, I mean, I feel like it's better than In-N-Out. That might be controversial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I disagree. Have you been to Starburger?
No, we haven't been to Starbucks.
Not yet.
No.
Recommended?
We'll go there tonight, maybe.
Okay. Well, the other one we like
Do you got
is
dinner plans
Culver's.
tonight?
We're meeting other Aussies.
Damn.
Yeah, we've got there's a football team that started over here called the North Texas Devils.
A soccer team? So you mean what you meant to say was a soccer team got started here?
No,
Australian rules.
Australian rules. We actually don't follow it back there, but we've got a little team that started here in Plano, and they're a really good bunch. And the guy that started it, yeah, we're going to have grilled fish the Australian way somewhere. That's what's going on tonight.
So tell me the next like 20 years. Like, do you want 15 locations? Do you want what's the next 20 years look like for the brand?
I don't know about 20 years, but I want 15 locations in, I don't know, maybe 10.
Yeah, 10 years.
I don't really know. I haven't thought beyond that.
I want to be a lady of leisure while these things happen, obviously. But yeah, no, we want to make it so that that we have still got our hand in them all, but not like physically.
Yeah,
So,
how many pairs of shoes do you want to be able to buy a month without it, without even noticing?
Without touching the edge, yeah. That's no. We're not scared of hard work, but yeah, we're ready to, make it so that it's a bit more scalable than what we're currently doing. So yeah, we've got the plans to be that size. We don't want to, like I said, we don't want to take over the world. We just want our slice of the pie, and we want it to be authentic. We don't want to sort of be wishy-washy, and we don't want to become a chain that's just like, how are you today? Like,
And that's all about your branding messaging. As long as people understand that like this isn't a chain.
yeah.
Like you should make sure to say we're not a chain and then has your address on it or something.
Yeah.
A lot of people do ask us if we're a chain or
We do get a lot of people that
That means your branding's good. I mean, honestly, like sometimes some people's branding is so good, people think, oh, this must be a franchise.
Yeah. And also too, they want to make sure, like especially the Australians that come in, they want to hear something authentic about it. So
your voice. That's a great.
I know. We can't hire any more Australians over here though, because they don't work hard as Americans. We've got a few. We've got some select ones, but yeah, and we've got a lot of American staff that talk with Australian accents to get bigger tips. It gets you up speed.
We're not kitschy.
Yeah,
but no, that
was one thing we didn't want to be kitschy, but we also wanted to find that balance where we have to play on it.
It's such a memorable voice.
Well, when I have people literally laugh at me while I'm just saying the simple things, then people try to impersonate when they have the British accent.
I do.
That's my favorite.
So my pastor in Nashville is Darren Whitehead, and he's got like everybody has the words they say a lot, but he says it in his like Australian accent, and so it's like the Lord of the universe. It's like always one that I'm like so used to him saying. The mission of our city.
Our city, yeah. You've got to add ease on the end of things that aren't there, and so people say to us all the time, say something in Australian. You're like, I'm just talking.
Yeah, that's the most annoying thing ever. So nobody ever does that when you have an American accent ever.
No, but unless you're not in America, and then everyone's like.
No, as I was saying, like if I go to like other countries, nobody's out there like, oh, talk in your. They'll be like, oh, can you talk in like a southern voice, And all that is you just slow it down and then add some twang. So well, today I woke up, looked out at my farm, saw my baby sleeping next to me.
That's it, nailed it.
Thought, thank God. I am an American. You got to carry some words. I just love this country.
That's it. And then we'll say something at the restaurant and people will just look at you with a blank face because they've got no idea what you're saying. So we have to work out all the translations. But yeah, we're like, we're going to go to the servo because we're having a barbie, the Sabi, and we're going to go to the bottle-o to get, some booze. And
we do shorten words like a lot.
And he talks really fast and people just go,
Yeah.
Half of them I didn't realise.
Yeah, half the time they're just like, yeah, you want a flat white? They're like, yeah. So he's like, what's this? That's a flat white you just asked for.
I need to slow it down.
Oh, do y'all do a lot of to-go ordering?
We do now. We do. It's since COVID. What did we work out the other day? It's
We're about 20% of our business is takeaway.
Yep.
Have you ever thought about doing a ghost kitchen?
Yes.
Yep.
We've got many concepts that we want to do. It depends on the next location.
So at the moment with the restaurant, we shut them down on the weekends. We turn off all the devices that do the to-goes. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. But yeah, because we want to service the restaurant.
Yeah.
And because the to-go, obviously the staff don't get paid as well on that.
Well, they don't make any tips. That goes to the delivery drivers.
Goes to the delivery driver. So
and then they take a 20 to 30% commission out of the orders as well.
So yeah.
But we have like on a Saturday and Sunday we've got like anything from a 25 to a 45. Actually on Sunday it was like an hour and 10-minute wait for a table.
People were still saying yes.
And people are generally happy to wait for it, which is crazy because
that's
you need a ghost kitchen.
as a country, yeah.
That's against Australian ethics as well. We will not wait for a table in Australia.
Really?
If you ever wait for a table, you're like literally in the like 5%, because everything, like I said, every second door you open down there is another version of it. So
So they take 20 or 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about launching your own where you make 100% of it?
yeah. That's
the
the current restaurant that we have wouldn't really the kitchen size. We stock most days because we empty most days. Like our kitchen is that compact because we never predicted that it was going to be the way it is. So our kitchen design might have been a bit smaller than ideally we liked. And being Frisco and having liquor, you've got to have 2 restrooms, and it's just the things that you don't know when you start.
See, those aren't big deals to y'all because you're used to a country that has an insane amount of rules, right?
Well,
like to me, I'm like, what the hell? I need a license for liquor?
Yeah, we went to the right place because Frisco is pretty on point when it comes to rules and regulations, which to us wasn't foreign. So we were like, okay, that's the way it's got to be. And everyone's like, Frisco's really hard. And we're like,
the city, they're very thorough.
Yeah, they are very thorough.
I think they had a lot of people who were doing the wrong thing, so all of a sudden they came down pretty hard.
Yeah, and because they were such a fast growing area, they were really onto it.
Are you amazed by how many donut shops there are in Texas?
There are a lot.
Yeah.
I've never. It's so like in Nashville. I know of like one donut shop that isn't Krispy Kreme, but like But here, there's like a local donut shop on like every corner.
Yeah, but they're never open when you want them to be.
They close at like 2:00.
Yeah, they're all out.
I think they open early, close early.
Yeah, but yes, donut stores have. Yeah, we were the same. Krispy Kreme. What's our other one we had?
Dunkin'.
Dreamy. We don't have Dunkin' in
Dreamy.
Australia.
No, you're right. Actually, is Dreamy still going? I don't know.
No, we don't really donut that much in Australia. So yeah, we were quite surprised.
Yeah, and like Krispy Kreme is always better than all these local places I try.
Yeah.
Not trying to be rude, but it's just like, I mean,
they'd want to be. They'd want to get it right. We only had Krispy Kreme in the airport.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
have you ever had a fresh one like right off the conveyor belt?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, it was a pretty baller.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 places that I can recommend that you go and try.
Oh yes, donuts.
Yeah, wow, donuts are awesome.
Yeah, been there.
Didn't rate them.
It's good. It's just like a hot Krispy Kreme's better.
What about?
I mean, look, I'm looking at original like glaze.
Detour.
Like they had their mocha ones or whatever that my wife loves.
Oh yeah, the fancy one.
okay.
Come on, I only drink water. I don't drink coffee. I don't like sauces.
Oh well, it's been good. We'll catch up.
So like when I go to your restaurant, I'm gonna eat like a 4-year-old.
No, we can deal with that. No,
But my wife will order all the dressings and salads and things, and love it.
We'll definitely be able to.
Are y'all open at night, or y'all only
Yep.
open? Okay.
Yep. We started that with COVID as well because we didn't want to put any staff off, so we decided to instead of like shorten the hours, extend them. So we stretched them out because obviously the restaurant couldn't be full, so we couldn't have every server working at the same time. So we thought, well, let's extend the hours, extend the menu to be a little bit more broader, and then that way we don't have to put. Actually, we hired during COVID because we're in the position to be able to do that, which is
so. I just love the idea that like, hey, you got to wear a mask when you walk in, but when you sit down, you take it off. And
that was a lot.
COVID is only a certain height that
was
rolls.
a lot. It goes away when your bum hits the seat. That's what we used to say, and that was a challenge for us because we're so used to following rules that we wanted to do the right thing and trying to enforce it.
Well, I think especially in the beginning when everything was still so unknown.
Yeah.
We did follow them, and we got. I mean,
Well,
It was hard, and also because our shop is so small.
Yeah.
Like we're a 50-seater, but we're in pretty tight. So
so Australians are used to literally like squeezing in between tables to be able to sit at your table and sitting side by side with a stranger, and that to us that wasn't unusual. So then when COVID came in, we had to pull tables out and not let people sit side by side, and like it was hard. It was really hard, and it was hard to be able to reason with people when you knew deep down that just because your bum was on the seat, it wasn't gone. It was just like that was the rules, and we had just got our liquor license, and our bond for a liquor license was like $8,000, and that was the TABC were the ones that were policing it, and so if you got caught with the wrong percentage in your restaurant. We were like, it was going to cost us a lot of money.
So insane.
And Frisco City brought in a really great system where you could put in any part of the restaurant's name and they could tell you how many people were supposed to be in the restaurant at that time. So if you put in, wherever you were and you counted that there was too many people, you'd be slammed on social media, and it was a tough time. But we were really fortunate during it because we weren't part of a chain and we weren't independent. We were like, okay, right, this is what's going on. What can we try that's going to get us through this? And we brought in a dish that we brought in meat pies so people could take them home and cook them. And all the Aussies were coming from Rockwall and coming in to buy the frozen pies so they could have a taste at home. And so we were just trying to do things that were a little left of centre that not the place down the road was doing to be able to keep afloat. And then Snow-Nado hit. Goodness me.
You guys were here for Snow-Nado?
So that was our wedding party week. And
good timing.
Well, no, we were in we threw our wedding party in Nashville.
Okay, so it was good timing.
And it hit Nashville just as bad.
Oh.
But our power didn't go out, but like it was much worse as far as roads. So there was literally 3 inches thick of ice everywhere. And every place was closed, including some grocery stores, Monday through Friday, and our party was Saturday.
Oh.
And we still had like 150 people show up, so we're really loved. I just want to throw that out there. Okay.
Obvious.
But it was, it was weird. I mean, because we left town, like essentially, we heard a storm was coming in, and I don't read the news or everything I do is like minute of.
Yeah.
It's how I have to be until I have like 200 assistants or whatever. But, so my wife's like, hey, I think we need to leave, I think we should leave tonight, cause it's going to apparently come and shut everything down. And I was like, probably not. It's probably not going to do that. But anyway, so we left that night. And then we stopped in Little Rock, and we woke up in Little Rock to like snow starting to come down. And so that would have meant that by the time we hit Little Rock, if we had left earlier, it would have been probably a lot worse. But then Nashville got crazy. It was just everywhere was ice, about 4 inches. My car's all-wheel drive and heavy, and it like crushed it.
Oh, really?
I mean, like the car did great in it.
Great, yeah.
So like I drove around the whole week, gave people rides the whole week. Here's a fun fight that we had that I'll share because it's funny to me. There was a group of like medical workers that need rides, to and from their shifts at the hospital. And so pretty much everybody's posting is a nurse, and it's like a nurse looking for a ride home from this area. And I was like, hey babe, I want to go take nurses home from work.
That would have gone down well.
And she was like, you're going to do what?
How are they paying you?
Yeah, she got like really upset, and I was like, oh, now I get it. But in my head, it was just like, I love driving. I was watching Jeeps get stuck, and I was like having no issue in a E-Class Mercedes. But and I just like love driving when there's nobody out there and everything was ice. Like it just looks cool.
Yeah.
So I was looking for any opportunity to get out there. But in her mind, it's like, hey, you're a married man taking home nurses from hospitals, and I don't trust these people. So that didn't happen. But Nashville's power didn't go out, and then we watched our cameras here go on and off. So they switched it.
Yep.
But our house was fine at least.
That's good. Yeah. We were fine in the end, but the restaurant we had no power for. Was it 4 days or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
So you just when you think that you were gaining momentum again, you got like another bit of a kick. But we just got on with it because, like I said, being an independent, you can just do what you do, just
American way.
Yeah, and then by the time you fill out all the insurance forms and that, it's such a pain in the ass. And it's like,
It's
then your
not
premium
worth it.
goes up, and it's like, is it worth it?
So we just took that little hit, and then that was all it was. But
So was there any damage or?
yeah, we didn't have any pipes burst or anything like
No,
that.
just
but
a lot of
just
stock.
a lot of stock. But,
Okay.
But in saying that, like I said, our kitchen is quite compacted. We run really lean. We run like a day. We stock most days, most of everything, and so we're able to save a fair bit because we were able to put the freezers on a different. I think there was like brown power, so there was only like some. So we were able to save the freezers, but we just lost everything that was in.
So do you all have chefs' backgrounds or cooking backgrounds?
Well, Louis has more than I do, but that's only because he grew up in food. But
Yeah.
then I became really close with his mum, and his mum used to do all the baking back in Australia for the restaurant. And so I was able to learn a lot from her. So there's no certificates for us, but we've had qualified chefs come in and we're like, okay. I remember the first time we gave one of the qualified chefs who, we were paying a lot of money to, I gave him her recipes, and I don't know what was going on. I honestly didn't know what was going on. Remember those days?
I think they knew what was going on.
And they would bring it out. They go, "Here, we've done it," and we're like, "No, you haven't. No, you haven't." And so we learnt pretty early that not everything translates. So we've got just our skills that we've
And like we're not fine dining. I mean, where our food is hearty, it's colourful,
Yeah,
and
but it
fresh,
tastes
and
great.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
And people
Like,
say that we're a high end breakfast in a casual atmosphere. So we present things differently, and all our baked goods are house baked, and we're really big on making sure that whatever we put in front of people is like got plenty of love involved. And all the recipes, like I said, Louis' mum's recipes, I've had to sort of tweak because there's not the same ingredients over here, so we've had to rewrite the book, and there's probably a book in it in the future.
I think so.
Yeah. So
But,
that's
oh yeah, that's a good idea.
That's gonna be
then
my
you can sell it at
department.
all your 15 stores
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So it's,
across 15 states because you're going big. Because you want the whole pie.
let's do it.
I like that pie. We've only, despite how our company back home was pretty big, like my family's business. We've only ever had kind of like a small business background, so we're kind of like, well, I am anyway, trying to focus on getting more out from working so much in the
You just
shop.
got to
so-
bring in like a business consultant
Yeah,
who's
he's-
extremely good at growing and scaling businesses. I don't know,
I wonder where we'd
I'll
find
send you
one
an
of them.
email.
So Louis the more conservative of the two of us. I'm like, yeah, everything. This place is great, and where he is like and that comes from his family background. Whereas I'm like full Australian, full reckless, don't let money burn a hole in your pocket mentality. So
Well, it is going to burn a hole unless you spend it, right?
Right. That's our balance. That's why we've worked together. How long have we been together now? We worked out this morning like 13
13
years.
or 14 years.
And married for
9.
9 of it.
That sounds good.
Wait.
A lot of therapy. A lot of therapy.
And we pretty much, except for about 6 months, we worked together from open to close our first shop, and then open to close pretty much this second
Yeah.
shop as well. So
So-
it's like 12, what's that, 11
Right?
years?
Look at your face right now.
That's it's insane. I just can't imagine. Like my friend Jimmy, him and his wife run No Baked Cookie Dough, which is a dough baked cookie dough company.
Yep.
Shocker. And she started it, and he's like their co-CEOs, essentially how it works. But I was like, dude, I can't imagine like how angry I get in business. I then can't imagine having to look across and be the person in the mirror. Like my wife and I do nothing together in business. And even when there's like issues, even when there's like things that I desperately need, I just think this is going to ruin everything. Cause I'm like kind of ruthless about things. And it's like, if she messes up, I'm going to be mad and I don't want to bring this into a relationship.
Yeah,
so I applaud you guys
No,
for,
You're smart.
No, I don't think we need applauding. We've literally nearly killed each other many, many times. But, it is hard. But you have to, there's a point where you got to wipe your feet. There is times where you have to, like I will, when...
have you ever thrown anything at them
Yes.
that's like a vegetable or something?
No, I've actually thrown a mop.
A mop bucket.
A mop bucket.
It was
sorry.
it was empty.
It was empty at the time. He's
would've
told
hated if I
many
got
people
hit.
that story, but I just guess sometimes I'm the hot tempered one.
It's lucky we don't have any guns.
Yeah, I would get to the point where I was just lose it. But I mean, if I wanted to hit you with the mop bucket, I would have. I just want to throw.
Oh
it
yeah, huh?
Just a
general
warning.
direction.
Yeah, that's what I love. Like
But,
women
yeah.
can never throw and hit anything.
No.
They go, "Oh, I could have." Yeah.
Well, Ange played roller derby and she played for Australia, so
Yeah,
Oh.
no, don't. Yeah, if I needed to
Careful.
Take that back. Just kidding.
So it has been testy times, but then to add on moving to another country where it's just the two of us, so going through all of that on top.
Do you think that
of-
helped your marriage though?
Nope.
Oh.
No, I actually think it did. It would. There was times where like I couldn't imagine doing it with anybody else. Like, yeah.
So my wife and I moving to a city where we knew no one.
Yeah, or nowhere.
Yeah, that's true.
You're needing ways to get to Kroger.
Was awesome for us
Yeah.
because what it is that I had 30 meetings a day and like she did her stuff and then we got like 1 hour at night before I fell asleep or something, right? And so now we were just like together all the time.
Yep.
And we loved each other even more, which
Yeah.
was a good sign. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, like this is a good decision.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I can't see it any other way.
No.
Like it's really great to
You built a human together,
I know.
right?
That's pretty crazy. Just pops out.
Like,
It's amazing they come out alive. I mean, it's just like, wait,
How
you
do
grew
they?
inside of somebody for 10 months and you're a human?
what a spin out.
it is a spin out. Such science. But no, I agree. If you can go through things together, I think, stress together is, shared. So
Yeah, and then like as long as the stress doesn't just keep coming.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is that like my friend called me the other day and told me him and his wife were getting a divorce, and it really like broke my heart because they were like one of my favorite couples, and he went from making like $250,000 a year and executive and live events. And so he was like on top of the world. Like
live events.
if you went into his office, you would see he's got photos with everybody he's worked with, which includes U2, Bruno Mars, like everybody, like Katy Perry. Like there isn't like essentially has like 2,000 photos that go from flooring to sill. Like he is the king of this stuff. So that happens. He gets let go. And then he had to sell his house to like, because they had equity in their house. They knew if he sold it, that would give him cash to allow him like think again and like find out what's next. Then they decide they'll go and like stay with her. Well, actually, they go to like visit her parents, and then she's like, "Well, I want to stay here." So then he's at like her parents' home living there. Anyway, it's just this nightmare that just like
ego-blowing,
corrupted their marriage, and it's like at the end of the day, like nobody cheated on each other. It was just that like there was lots of stress, and it kept getting worse
yeah.
because the thing was he kept accepting all these side gigs to try to provide for his family, and just none of them would turn out well. And so it's all like you can only sustain it for so long.
Yeah, but that's not just about relationships. That's just life in general.
Yeah.
Like, how many hits can you get? Like,
I know.
yeah.
It is.
I'm sure that there's a toll that no one will ever know after COVID. Like that result. Obviously, all the live gigs being shut down.
Yeah, there's no
is-
data for that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the issue is that like I've always made the claim that the pandemic hurt more lives than the virus. Like I just really believe that because you look at the like. Yeah, it's just insane, and just the way we even printed money is going to turn out to really hurt us. But anyway, that stuff just makes me sad.
Yeah.
So I applaud you guys for.
Thank you. We do miss out. We had a therapist back in Australia. We used to see all the time.
He was awesome.
Dr. Dick Rigby. We still email him. We're still in contact
Just
with
to
him.
say good day.
Just out there.
When my wife and I first moved here, we had a therapist, and everything he said just went over my head. And so it typically was like us going and then her spending the following week explaining what he was trying to say. And it's just that he was just too technical. Like I just need somebody who's like, hey, like you're doing XYZ wrong. Like instead he was like drawing analogies, and I was just like, I'm not.
Yeah.
No,
But everybody like teaches differently, I suppose, as well.
Yeah.
So if you weren't getting anything out of it, it was a waste of money.
Yeah.
Like if you're not.
we had two. I think we had two before we found Dick, didn't we? I couldn't handle anybody younger than me telling me what to do either. I was like, you haven't lived it. And so I struggle with one. And then,
Yeah, and then if you get somebody who's too old, you're like, you don't have any in touch with reality. I get
but
that feeling.
he would talk to Louis, and he would literally just tear strips off him. He would just be like, "What the fuck are you doing, Louis? You're not doing this again, are you? We've been through this."
I'd be like, I fucked up.
Yeah, he was the best. But yeah, no, you've got to work on it. And that's the other thing that we find different over here too. People don't really like to talk about what's going on.
Yeah, which is the thing is like what helps everything is being like open and honest. And like outside relationships, the thing is like if you don't have outside relationships, your relationship just starves.
Right.
And so like what people do is they start to have marriage issues and then they retreat. And it's like actually your move should be like go further into having friends and doing stuff.
Yeah, because I really feel like it's an unfair thing to expect one person in your life to provide everything that you need. Like it's not a realistic expectation to put onto someone.
Yeah, it's like yesterday was a really tough day for me. And nothing to do with my wife, just like a newborn and work and like I'm kind of running two companies, so if one thing's going wrong at one company, that's bad. But when things are going wrong at both companies, it's like and I went and had a golf fitting, and it was like the best experience I've had like all year. I mean, it was just like it was 2 hours of like just hanging out with a guy and just tuning in everything. And I love stuff like that. We'd we would try like 30 different club heads, 30 different shafts, and just like, okay, this is the perfect everything. And all it did was just get my mind off everything. And I came back just refreshed and happy and energized and all the things. And then I woke up this morning to like somebody calling me a psychopath. And, so it restarted again. But
congratulations.
But I thought like, wow, like a lot of times when there's issues, our first response is to like, I'm going to go fix it.
Yep.
When really the best response is like, I need to like step away from this actually.
Yep. Wise beyond your years. It takes a long time for people to learn that. That's...
Yeah, well, I had no friends growing up, and I have run businesses since I was 12, and so I'm just a 90-year-old man is all I am, I just got my first TV, like real 90-year-old man. I've only seen 25 movies in my life.
Really?
That's it.
Yeah. Just love to work. Like I do know a lot about business because like it's been it's everything I've like spent my life on.
Yeah. It's got you where you are.
I guess. Yeah. It's got me in a closet filming a podcast. Sometimes I like to talk it down.
Place you could be.
I'm like, I'm just in the closet. When it's like I spent like 2 months and I had to mount these lights and strategically place them. But nobody understands the hard work. All right. How do people connect with you? What's the best way to do that?
We're on all the socials.
Facebook, Instagram, or like on our website's got a direct link to...
What's the domain?
theaussiegrind.com, www.theaussiegrind.com.
www doesn't exist anymore, right?
Doesn't it? I don't say it anyways. World Wide Web.
Oh, web.
World Web.
But don't ask for a reservation.
Yep. You can.
Yeah, can I?
You can.
Okay,
you can.
sweet.
You can.
Anything coming in the new year? Is location 2 going to be
Location
for sure
2.
open in next year?
Location 2.
What part of town?
We're going to be closer to into Dallas.
Okay.
Because we want to open a centralized kitchen to be able to send out to the other outlets. So 3 and 4 and 5 will be a lot quicker than number 2. Yeah. So we want to be able to service the restaurants without taking up because the rents, what they like around here, they're so big that we don't want to take up a big footprint everywhere. We just want to have one place to be able to send out from and
and if you have that big place and you can do the ghost kitchen.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
I don't know why I think ghost kitchens are so cool. Maybe it's partly the word. It sounds kind of cool.
Well, also too because it's new. Like it's interesting and it's a different way, going forward, and it makes sense. Like it's, people. Depending on what happens from here on out, more people are wanting to stay home and.
I'm shocked how many people do delivery.
Yeah.
I do pick up everything because I am not waiting.
Yeah, no, we're not good at it either.
Nobody's grabbing my food. No. Nobody's touching that but me.
Mm-mm. And we do see some of the quality of drivers. Oh, well, yeah, there's some real challenges amongst some of them. But, yeah, we agree. We think it's a good idea. And, we actually remember the first time we saw it was in Australia about 5 years ago, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. And so it was a burger bar that literally just already had a flagship somewhere that we knew and loved. And they opened this little tiny one, and all it had was a back door and a front door, and there's nothing fancy about it. And you would either go in or they would deliver themselves. So, yeah, we were like, what's this? This doesn't make sense. There's no
What theme? Do you do a Christmas theme next?
Well, I do double Halloween because we don't really Halloween in Australia. So I always get 2 sets out of Halloween. These actually glow in the dark too. But, yeah, I'm very big on theming. I found that at 2 o'clock in the morning. I didn't know they glowed in the dark until I was there. With the lights appear. And I'm like, Louis, my nails are glowing in the dark. And he's like, what?
Yeah, a guy was trying to sell me a $10,000 Rolex, and he was like, check this out. It glows in the dark. And I was like, I feel like that just devalued it.
Oh, yeah. That's badass.
I don't want a Rolex that glows in the dark.
It'll give you cancer.
All right.
Yeah. But
Well, thanks for coming out. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. And we'll see you for your basic bitch breakfast real soon.